Hello. I'm trying to get chat to work. All right, let's start over. So chat log mode. How do I move? Oh, there we go. All right, I guess we'll find out if that works. It is on top, yes. Alright, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll see. Can't be that hard, right? Oh, wow. Look at all these badges that we don't have. I don't think I've actually gotten any achievements on this run, because I'm pretty sure the achievements that I have are like the achievements that you get in the sunny route. Maybe not, we'll see. I'm gonna apply some eye drops before we get started today. right, eye drops. I hate when like your eye drop bottle starts like getting low on eye drops, and you it's like torture waiting for the drop to come out. Yeah, I wasn't feeling it earlier. Work I had like a late start today, and work was kind of wearing me down. But as soon as I got off work, I made some butter chicken, um, and it just hit so bad, like so good, um, and really got me back in the mood. In fact, I keep going back to it whenever I pass the stove and getting like a spoonful, um, which goes against my usual cook and eat leftovers for most of the week. But I just can't stop myself. It came out so good. So we're gonna try to get through Black Space today. I think we're gonna play Orange Oasis. I don't expect today's session to last all that long since we're starting a little bit later. Um, I think Orange Oasis. Okay, so chat's definitely. I don't think chat's working. Maybe I'm making it. Oh, it's white, so you wouldn't be able to see it. Let's. What if it was purple? All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop worrying about getting chat to work. If I cared that much about it, I should have looked it up. Why does it want me to start here? That's not right. All right. First things first. Floating mirror. We do got some. Let's go water the flowers real quick. Oh, it's already entered the point of no return. But let me go collect. We got to go get the keys. We got keys to go get. I think a lot has been said in recent days, recent weeks even. Recent since OMORI came out as to whether OMORI can be considered a good game. Which isn't a conversation that I've ever been really willing to partake in. It would be disingenuous for me to say OMORI's a bad game with how much I love it. But, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I do think oftentimes, early on, a lot of my critiques about OMORI I came to realize were grounded in this. In the perspective of like what I wanted OMORI to be, or I don't know, what it wasn't even trying to be. Um, and I don't even think this is something that's unique to Omori. I think this is something that can happen. Like, I think with the recent, like, Deltarune, that review that like everybody was talking about, people can often get wrapped up in what they wanted something to be rather than what it is. And I think that's great for like transformative content, like when you're doing like a mod or a fanfic, because I think in that case it is resulting in something like creative being made, you know? Are you kidding? I made it purple and then the border's purple now? Alright. I'm deleting. I don't think chat's even working. I haven't seen anything come through on there. But I think when it comes to critique and you let that like shroud your version of the game, I just don't think it's a fair critique. You know, I wouldn't want a game. I wouldn't want a game that I made to be criticized for something it's not, rather than what it is. And believe me, Omori has very fair criticisms to be had about it that don't fall into that category. And we're going to get into those. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into that today, because Orange Oasis... I mean, I guess you could criticize the existence of Orange Oasis. Why spend dev time on that? But yeah. And Black Space generally, I mean, I guess the biggest criticism you could have of Black Space is that it takes heavy inspiration from Yume Nikki. Or maybe that's more of a truth sequence thing, but I think it really applies to both. But I don't know. I think even from that framework, Black Space still makes sense within the confines of Omori. Yeah, Ice Cream Princess Mari. Like, I get it. Maybe a lot of work was done on Orange Oasis before it was ultimately cut, but, like, still just feels like it's a lot of dev time for something that a lot of players, you know, the average player who isn't, like, playing it more than once may just miss. I think, even though I have taken a pretty firm stance on playing the devil's advocate when it comes to Basil Omori's screen time, I actually do think it's a pretty fair criticism that Basil does not appear in person during One Day Left at all. Even though I do think that that's like part of the... I think that's intentional. So it's like, at that point, I don't know. Am I criticizing it for something that is fair to criticize it for? I mean, you can criticize it for whatever you want to criticize it for. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, One Day Left really isn't even that long, because you've already, like, finished... If you play Omori like I do, you've already done, like, a lot of the activities. Like, a lot of the jobs, Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, by the time you get to this point in the game, you have already, like, I don't think there's a tutoring thing during One Day Left. Or maybe there is, and like Hero does it for you or something. I seem to remember that being a scene. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of like a fan fiction where all of the characters are around more. I think you could absolutely criticize Omori for the treatment of Aubrey. I think Aubrey's character kind of. The treating of Aubrey's character somewhat drops the ball during One Day Left, especially. We did it. We got a mango smoothie. Give me a strawberry one. Give me the freaking strawberry smoothie. That's right. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. That's true. A whole lot of it does not appear in the game. I can go get the law sword real quick. And then I'm pretty sure the other key is on the highway, if I'm not mistaken. On the part of the highway that I didn't actually get to see. And as funny as it might sound, as somebody who has spent a lot of time obsessing over interpretations, by the time the average person gets the law sword, they're done playing the game. I mean, I guess you can go back and get it once you have the joke, but most people aren't turning around. Right. That's pretty funny. Omori! Yes. Here it is, the law sword. Only a true hero is able to wield it. What's the deal with the law sword, anyway? Like, what do you even do? XD. Alright, let's... I think we should probably... Well, we'll go do Orange... We'll go check out Orange Oasis, and then... What's the other way? And then we'll go get the last key. Which I totally remember the exact location of. Roger that. I can't believe it. Me? Wrong? I'm going insane. I know how to play OMORI. I've definitely explored Vast Forest more than anyone else. I think I was tricked by a map, by the map layout. I kind of don't want to do Orange Oasis. Like, I'm still, like, in the headspace of, like, I kind of want to skip Orange Oasis. And I think I'm exclusively doing it because I'm worried about the timing of it all. And having, like, if I have 2 streams left, having one stream that's just, like, an awkwardly short amount of time. Because the thing is, if I do Black Space, I have a gut feeling that if I do Black Space right now, like if I just start it right now, I'm gonna want to keep going. Yeah, there it is. And I'm just not gonna want to like stop. Lemonade stand. Granted, I think that's already going to happen, because I think once you play Black Space, it's hard to not keep going after that. But I'm hoping that by the time we finish Black Space, it'll just be late enough that I don't really, that I'm not really interested in continuing. And then maybe tomorrow, I can actually just finish out one day left, and, brain fog. And truth sequence and like the ending of the game. Here's not where the home is. Home is not where here is. Home is not here. Home is not here. Home is not here, but where is here? Here is not home. Here's not home, but where is home? A case full of crosses. A bag full of berries. Is it weird to say that I kind of find this sequence a little strange? Like, as far as like where it is in the game, kind of a little out of place. Like, this feels like a very OMORI route thing to happen. Liar. Sunny, sunny, sunny. It's like, this is... I'm sorry. I don't know. That like interaction just doesn't. It feels out of place in the Sunny route, in my opinion. Where the moon shines brighter. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? The moon shines brighter. Like, you have all of the stuff about... Obviously, the unbred twins are here. And... Mikhail, or Michael, or Mikhail, his Headspace character talks about wanting to go to the moon, which is kind of a reference to that a little bit. Where the moon shines brighter. So, I mean, where the moon shines brighter, that is like a OMORI thing, presumably, because where the sun shines bright, when the sunshine brighter when she was here refers to, well, presumably refers to Sunny, assuming that that line of dialogue, you see that? Me when I see a table with two chairs next to it, and there's a wishbone on it, and the people are making a wish. Yeah, rest in peace, peculiar old geezer. It's him. It's him. Apples and grapes and bananas, mango smoothie. I mean, I feel like I've already done like half of the ghosts already, so I might as well... I'd rather... You know what, now that I think about it, I think I would rather do the Ghost Party quest than Dino Dig. I think I really don't want to do Dino's Dig. If you got something to say, then say it. Yeah, fence sitter hero OMORI. Oh, we can go to Raintown. I am slightly bothered by the amount of rain. I do like Raintown. Um, there's an umbrella right there. I don't know. I don't think that umbrella matches any of the umbrellas we see in the Rainy Day Memory. But this area does seem to be very connected to the Rainy Day Memory. It's raining too hard. It is making us slightly uncomfortable. Only the chosen one is able to turn it. Blurg. Ick. I'm assuming it's using standard pump rules, and I have to turn it to the right. Yeah. You got a veggie kid. Awesome. Yeah, so this area is interesting for a couple of reasons. Very reminiscent of the Rainy Day Memory. The other place you see veggie kids are in Otherworld, which is kind of like saying they're at Hobbies. Um, One of them, has clear parallels to Aubrey with this veggie kid right here, the purple one, because of Mr. Plant Egg. Um, the potato girl feels like could be representing Sunny here, because Tomato Girl, I like to say would be Basil, just because. Well, for one, I think it's relevant that Tomato Girl is the veggie kid that joins you, and also Tomato Girl we know is a pet rock that we know Basil has a pet rock, but we don't know what pet rock Basil has. Kel also has a pet rock, but Kel's pet rock is Pluto. So Kel's probably the onion. Maybe because Kel has layers. Whoa. Somewhere around here we will have... Somewhere around here we have Orange Joe. Oh no. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, I'll just stop messing with the stream. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is good that Orange Oasis is in here in some form. I think, you know, the whole thing with cooking is probably a pretty relevant thing to still include in some form, but I think, I don't know, it's just something that most people don't do. And I just feel like it doesn't have to be here. There's Bud Girl again on display at this museum. Let's go, I guess let's go finish Hector. Potato spoon. It's really you. Come on, Hector, back into my pocket you go. It'll be just like old times. My old friend, I am so sorry. I'm afraid things have changed and I can no longer accompany you. You see, I have a family now. Hector Jr., what are you doing? Are you saying that you want to join them? There's more to life than just staying here? Just like that. I guess this is farewell then. Thank you for never giving up on finding me, Kel. Hector Jr., you be good, okay? So sad. Probably intended to be some kind of relevant. Oh, shoot. I forgot to... I didn't do the Orange Joe quest. Big spoon down! Can talk, but is very shy. Stats increase with more energy. A croissant. Thanks. Miss Palmy has been taking care of us forever. She's always been so loving and caring. Peanut and jelly. This is Sweetheart. Yeah, Grandma. You slipped the photo back in the book. Here he is. Orange Joe. Hey, what are you doing? My name's Orange Joe, and I'm throwing oranges. Looking for my long-lost twin brother, Oragna Joe. Oh, don't say in my citrusy heart. Tater spoon. It's him, Oragna Joe. So this is, of course, you know, a reference to Kel, who started reaching out once the for sale sign put up, trying to get Sunny to come outside. With all the oranges he was throwing being like the messages and phone calls that Kel was doing. Sweet. Hope and vigor, hope and vigor. Alright, and with that, I don't think we really have to do Dino Dig anymore. Let's go... I think really it's just Brevin and... yeah, I think it's just Brevin and then the, like, the little path. He's the muscle and I'm the muscle. Everybody gained 5 juice. Let's... Let's do Mari. I think this is the NPC that tells you, yeah, so I think that means our WTF value is 1, if I'm not mistaken. So there's this guy running around. I know you can talk to him. I'm pretty sure you can talk to him. You have a worried look in your eyes. I can tell a problem greatly ails you. Let me tell you something, child. When you know that an arduous and difficult future lies ahead, all you need is hope. Be hopeful of yourself and be hopeful of the future. Yes, anything is possible if you believe. And, if all else fails, know that at least I will believe in you, alright? Excellent. Please accept this teaching as a gift. Hero learned spicy food. That was epic. Shoot, my memory is failing me a little bit. How do I... Good for you. Yep. I think a lot's been said about that jump rope right there. I won't go too much into it. Am I missing something? What am I doing? That's crazy. Oh-hoo! 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 I like this. I like this. No funny business. It's him! It's him! This is the... yeah, that's the date of the moon landing. Also, it's Sunny's birthday. Outside of the 1969 part. What in tarnation? You picked up actual mole. You died. I thought I was toast for sure. I don't know what the thing with moles and toast is. Obviously, there's like father's alive. Obviously, they're like sprout moles, but stuff like this is weird because it's again just one of those. It's like headspace lore, um, where it's like how much can you trust that like this is where all of the different creatures come from in OMORI, you know. The bread, it has spoken. Bop alert, by the way. You're not supposed to do that. Oh my gosh. No! They're killing me with the cookies. It's making me feel like maybe I'm not remembering how their mechanics work. What will we do without ingredients? You are not here to destroy us. We would never attack unprovoked. Never, ever. So this, they are clearly representing like Sunny in this case. Um, Doing this just because it's become all he knows. Of course, it doesn't really matter because most players don't see this, but sorry. Be right back. Sorry about that. I kept getting calls. Holy kitchen. All right, what time is it? 8:15. All right, I think we can start wrapping this up a little bit and get to the real meat of the night. Maybe I should share a link to my stream somewhere real quick. All right. Well, let's go get the last key. Like I thought. I mean, there are interesting things about Orange Oasis, but like I imagined, there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about. Everything is pretty surface level. Um, we'll go to Deep Well. Okay, I already came in here. Is there anything else we should do in Headspace before we move on? Anything anyone's interested in seeing? What quests haven't I handed in? Okay. So here's one. Stay away. You are not my son. Why? Why won't you fall? This is very interesting. So the literal interpretation of this is that Sonny's dad knows the truth. And that's why he left. Presumably. There's a figurative reason for it as well, that being that Sonny's parents' marriage fell apart naturally as a result of the incident. And his dad didn't know, but Sonny knows, and so he still feels guilty, and that's why this shade says, "You're not my son." It's also somewhat literally true. Omori is technically, I mean, I don't know about technically, but Omori isn't Sonny in many ways. Sonny has forgotten himself. Regardless, we know that something similar to this event probably did happen in the real world because the tree is no longer standing. And unfortunately, this was Sonny's favorite tree. But, I mean, I think it is. I think with the literal interpretation, it represents the parents disagreeing over how they are handling this. If you choose to see it that way. Like I said, it's pretty difficult to not see it that way based on the evidence. I still don't like it. But that is what the evidence suggests. Well, I just don't like Sonny's parents knowing the truth. Personally, I think I said it way back on like the first stream or one of the first streams where I think that adults knowing about what happened absolves Sonny and Basil of a certain amount of responsibility. Even though that is what the evidence points towards, I don't necessarily dislike the presentation of the scene or anything like that. It's more so the idea of it. As soon as like an adult gets involved in knowing what happened, it becomes like a whole other thing. For instance, I mean, of course, what they know is probably, even in the best case scenario, Sonny and Basil probably don't think they know. Consciously. They probably didn't tell them. So does Sonny's mom think Basil's involved? If she does, why didn't she... She doesn't seem to have any... She doesn't seem to try to encourage Sonny to stay away from Basil when she's telling him to go back outside. There's a lot going on there. With regards to Sonny's mom encouraging him to go back outside to be with his friends, knowing exactly what happened. Which, she probably doesn't know exactly what happened, even in the best case or worst case scenario. I guess Sonny's dad knowing is a bit better than his mom knowing, in my opinion. Because he would have had a reaction to it. But I do personally prefer the interpretation that his dad doesn't know, and that this is Sonny feeling guilty because he knows that. Because I don't know what the point of chopping down the tree would be if he knew the truth. because that's not what killed her. Or I don't know. I do think the game wants you to believe in some way that the parents did know. It's just another one of those things that I'm not a big fan of. I don't know. I mean, really, my opinion on this just goes back to my feeling that Sunny and Basil should be the only two that know the truth. Because for one, it's repeated numerous times throughout the game that this is something Sunny believes. One took it to her grave. They're the only two who know the truth. One took it to her grave, and one, whatever, needs to be saved or what have you. It just doesn't really work for me as a plot point. And that's why I don't think it's obvious about it. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I kind of put this alongside other things like the paranormal and OMORI and things like that, where I know that the evidence in the game points towards it. That if you decide to try to look into it in any way possible, it is difficult to reconcile. I don't like it, is what I'm saying. And because those lines of dialogue about the mom potentially knowing are so far out of the way, so to speak, it's something that can be pretty easily ignored. I think it is bad for the theme and the plot of what's going on in this game for people other than Sunny and Basil to know the truth. Especially an adult. And, I mean, even if you look at some of those lines, there are alternate interpretations. That's just how I feel, though. I don't think it's good for the game for her to know. But I understand the game is written in a way that makes it easier to believe that than to not. Yeah, we'll see. Speaking of black space, we're gonna get started with it a bit here. These are sunflowers. They're called that because they always face towards the sun. That's how I want to be like. Someone who always sees the bright side of things. A dead flower. These flowers are called Lily of the Valley. It's said that they're able to ward off evil spirits and help people see a brighter future. I guess that's why they remind me of Mari. I can always count on her to help me stay positive. Roses come in many different colors and have their own unique meanings. Pink roses symbolize admiration. Orange roses symbolize passion. Yellow roses symbolize friendship. And the list goes on. Hero doesn't remind me of any rose in particular. I think Hero is like all roses because he's versatile and universally loved. These are a type of flower called the gladiolus, also known as the sword flower. As you might guess, they represent strength of character. Someone who is honest with strong moral values. Someone who stands by their convictions. The gladiolus reminds me of Aubrey because she's always true to herself. Cacti are very sturdy and resilient plants by nature. They don't need much care and can survive even in seemingly impossible conditions. I guess what I'm saying is that even you could take care of a cactus, Kel. And these are white tulips. Tulips aren't very flashy plants. They're not too big or small, not too elaborate or flamboyant. If I could put it in another way, I guess I would say that they're comfortable. Simple, modest, and perfect. Just like Sunny. Whew. What a line. I like to grab screenshots like that. I should have gotten the whole thing just in case I ever need them. Because so many times I've been, back in the day at least, when I was like, or I'll be making like a Twitter post about OMORI where I want to talk about that, and then I'll have to like go find a screenshot of it. And yeah, post it and all that. I think that line of dialogue is so crazy. To imagine, like, even outside of like Sunflower Cannon or whatever, that is such an insanely heartfelt thing to say about someone. Just a level of closeness, you know? I haven't seen exactly what it was like before it was reworked, but I know that like this whole thing was like last minute, right? I'd have to look it up, unfortunately. All right, well, here we go. Let's that last line soak in more. Okay. I'll have to look up what it was like before. My Switch controller had an update today when I started my Switch. I don't know what that means. I don't know what needed updated on it. Yeah, here we go. Starting black space. I actually don't remember this part all that well. I kind of thought that it just kind of dropped you into it. Oh no, yeah, I do remember this part. I forgot the beach. I forgot the little beach there. But this I remember. Mari Amori. Woo. This is the stage, by the way. It is a good jump scare. Helmari does creep me out a bit, actually. Generally, I try to avoid getting the Helmari, doing the Helmari stuff, because I don't want to see it. Alright, Black Space, if you're not familiar, which, you know, I don't think there's that many people here, but um, I believe only the first, I think you only need to do 6 rooms to be able to move on. And in my opinion, most of the interesting stuff is after the first 6 rooms. Um, Also, despite there being a bunch of doors, um, you do always go to each room in a specific order. The truth is difficult for you. In the past, it has caused you to stray in your destructive form. Your current form subdues that, and although it is also evil, it may still be the better of the two. So yeah, there's like 2 different versions of Omori the character. There's like the passive form that Sunny controls, and there's the destructive form that takes control in places to stop the truth. I deeply wish that your friend's soul was born uncorrupted. We know too well what fate will befall him otherwise. These strangers, I believe, are not the Basil stranger. Lose yourself in the moment you want it. You better never let it go. There are still some who still believe in you. I believe the morning sun. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Are you running out of time? Yes, he is running out of time. He's getting ready to move. This is his last chance. Is this the first time Stranger gets a dialogue sprite? Like, I think when he appears in the real world... Oh, it's not? Lost Library Piano Room. Okay, yeah. Now I remember that. Hello, Armored Ascension. Thank you for joining us. These rooms are full of broken things. But at least in here, I can see who you really are. The world that you created above this one. Did you make it to protect this place or to hide it away? Either way, it's become more powerful than you. I think I'm trying to trigger the Dreamer Easter egg there. I don't think you can actually go in there in the actual game. You guys seeing this? Yeah, we'll try not to dwell. We'll try not to dwell on the rooms that I don't have much to say about, but Hi, I'm Loquacious Cat. Ask me anything. A bag full of white cotton. What? A pair of rusty scissors. A small wooden table. A tomato made of cloth. That's what I'm saying. Me when somebody mentions a small wooden table being, I mean, all of the answers are random. So, um, but tomato made of cloth. Tomato girl. Following the cloud. Follow the cloud. There's the footsteps. I don't think this is actually like... Uh-oh. I don't like that. You are far away from home. I've never actually done this. I don't know if it leads to anything. I think it just loops endlessly. Alright, I'm done following the cloud. Home is a big deal in the video game OMORI. You are far, and right now you are far away from it. E. Lost in this confusion lies the root of everything. The truth that you've locked away. You must find it, no matter what. You have to, for the both of us. This is just a taste of my dark reality. My inner psyche. Crazy bread is just normal bread to me. Are you lost? Not to worry. The red hands know the way back. That's... Am I going a little bit crazy right now? Doesn't make a sound. Someone's done this before. Was it you? Was it me? Was it the flower boy? I know who that is. If you were lost, where would you go? Somewhere familiar, somewhere safe, full of good memories. If only there was such a place. Yeah. Well, I think I have a pretty good idea of how they chose some of the rooms that wouldn't be um, mandatory, and we'll kind of talk about that as I get to them. Um, I should probably stop wasting time with this one, though. Because I mean, these first six rooms are all kind of abstract, I'd say, in comparison to some of the ones that come later. Um, Now here we are. We have like a little neighborhood. I believe that's a poly stranger. Um, Unlike the earlier poly stranger, I think this one only appears in the sunny route. I might be wrong about that though. It, again, might just be something that I've made up. Don't worry, we'll find it together. It's actually news to me that there's a jump scare associated with one of these houses, so I'm interested. Well, I guess it's not one of the first three rows. Good lord, there's so many houses. I feel like I must have known this at some point. Oh, Cake. Do you want to eat it? As you chew, you begin to hear the crunching of bones. You chew a little slower and realize your molars are missing. I did know about this, though I think this is the first time I've ever triggered the event for myself. Whoa. That was crazy. I think we're done. Well. There's no other, like, house stuff, right? I'm pretty sure that those two things are the only things. Just the dev room. It's interesting. A lot of the yeah. So I mean, I'm sure I knew about the dev room at some point. A lot of the stuff I like kind of discovered after I first got into OMORI. Tombstone at the top of the map. Yeah, I think I knew about this, but I've never done it myself. Because generally, by the time I was like in the know about this kind of stuff, I was I wasn't really playing it anymore. I was kind of just like looking up like footage or looking at screenshots. Here lies minced, wilted from lack of water. The demon got its revenge. Here lies Andrew Vance, aka Sleepy Kuya, the town drunk. Died fighting actual mule. Ooh. We'll not talk about Melon Kid. I will only say that I probably would not have wanted to work on OMORI. Ooh. Archaea Sunflower Supreme right there. That was epic. When you hid the truth, you sealed a part of me away with it. He's been waiting for someone to save him all this time. On that day, when you became nothing, I was split in half. Which one do you think was more painful? So, there's a lot that could be said about this line of dialogue. So, I mean, something that you notice as you play. Also, hello, Major Tom. Thank you for joining. Something that you do kind of notice about Headspace Basil is that for the most part, the close relationship that he had slash has with Sunny slash Omori isn't there in the same way that it is in the real world. Um, Headspace plays up the relationship he has with everyone else to more of a degree than you see within Memory, something like Memory Lane, or just like the photo album in general. And kind of erases some of his dynamic with Sunny. And that's part of, Sunny knowing how important he is to Basil. And that by becoming nothing, he's taking a big part for Sunny to become Omori and for Sunny to no longer exist as an entity. Erases a whole lot about Basil. Now, of course, there's also the idea that Stranger is some kind of projection from the real Basil in the real world, carried through these flowers. Which, I don't know. But, I mean, I think it's a very interesting line of dialogue. Which half was more painful? Or which was more painful, or whatever. Becoming nothing? Is that talking about the two halves of Basil? Is that talking between what Sunny did to himself and Stranger? I don't know. I think this is that it's a line of dialogue that's very up for interpretation and doesn't really have one solid, thing you could say about it. As is a lot of stuff within Black Space. Yeah, again, it's just one of those things that I don't like. Is this the... Yeah, this is the liar room. Liar. Liar, liar, liar. Liar, liar, liar. Sunny, I love you. I love you. Which room was that? Was that 4 or 5? I think that was 5, right? Or was that 4? I'm pretty bad at remembering the number on those kinds of things. I think this is the last required room, right? That would make sense. Miwo has been very, very bad. You got a key. No. So, I mean, if you don't know, you can kill Miwo here, and it's not going to change anything. So there's the literal interpretation of this is that Miwo was euthanized at a vet, or was brought to a vet to treat something and did not make it out. Just looking at the aesthetics, that's what this looks like. There are many interpretations that say this room means Sunny killed Miwo. I don't fully believe that. I don't think Miwo would be in white space if that were the case. But I certainly don't think it means that Miwo is alive. There's also like a metaphorical layer to this. Miwo could represent Basil, for instance. You could take your revenge on Basil and blame everything on Basil, and it won't let you escape your current situation, because your current situation is something that you put yourself in, and only you can do that. Now, unlike what would be implied with that, there's no way to like really do the Sunny route. I mean, I guess, yeah, eventually Sunny, you have the ability to not try and save Basil at the end. Which just goes to show, you know, it's unrelated. I'm not gonna kill Miwo. I don't want to kill Miwo. Not while my cat is sitting here on my lap. So yeah, I think that was... I feel like that was the last required room, right? I don't know. Actually, it didn't give me... No, I don't think that was the last required room. I think there's one more. I think we have one... We get one Headspace Basil room, too. Yeah. The watermelon room. You got a flower crown. You can't access your inventory right now. He's so naked without his flower crown. Look how green he is. Omori, you came back for me. Is that my flower crown? I'm so glad you found it. Let's get out of here. I'll follow your lead. Growing watermelons here has been fun, but I really miss my flowers back at home. How are they doing? Did you take care of them while I was gone? Hee hee. Heh. Watermelons sure are delicious. We used to cut them up and eat them all the time at the beach. I can still see Kel with those watermelon seeds all over his face, haha. Summer vacation with friends was the best, wasn't it? Yep, and we're gonna get a couple more of these before the end. So if you don't know, the current dialogue that we see in Black Space is not the original Headspace Basil dialogue that we'd get here. there's an earlier version of the game, of the dialogue that's still in the code, um, in which Basil keeps trying to bring up the truth directly. Um, Instead, that's been replaced with what we have now currently, which is more so these are versions of Basil that are bringing up things from the real world, like things from memory lane that have been sealed away, that aren't necessarily part of the truth directly. Like this one bringing up that. Um, Aspects of the real world that cannot be carried over to Headspace due to the timeless nature of it. There's no summer vacation in Headspace. Um, I don't know. I think it's a little interesting that they decided to do it like that. Um, I know this room. Sunny we like. Alright, so the very first analysis post I ever made about OMORI was about this room. The soundtrack for this room is August Water, right? I'm not making that up, right? It's this room. It's August Water. Um, August Water. Well, first, like this is clearly based off of the beach memory. Sorry, I'm looking for Blue Girl. Like Blue Girl's in here, right? This is the room she's in. Um, Obviously, yeah, blacking out all of the photo album photos here. Isn't she down here and to the left? It might be what WTF value? Okay. Well, Blue Girl, I made a whole post about it. I'm pretty sure there's something else about August Water too. Long story short, the post was more so trying to identify the meaning of August slash water. Because they certainly didn't go to the beach in August. Um, and I connected it to the lake incident, and I kind of brought that around to Sunny and Basil's personal like relationship and how their relationship developed and all that um, over time. Um, yeah, our friends who have suffered because of us. Can we still call them friends? No matter how much I want it, things can't go back to the way they were before. But why does part of me still cling on? Like from Star Trek. Is there still hope left for us, Sonny? So at this point, Stranger really starts talking to you as if he were Basil. Um, like the real Basil and not just what Stranger is. Um, yeah, get me out of here. I'm ready to move along. Now, it's not the... I disagree. I think Blue Girl represents Aubrey. Um, she is connected to the beach memory. Um, and her thing, like, don't, it's what she say, she says, don't talk to me, like, I think that's her line, um, which, with the thing Stranger is already saying about, can we even call them our friends anymore, somebody who you talk to regularly, um, who confided in you quite a bit, is now being cold to you. Um, which, I mean, it happens in both routes, so it's not connected to seeing Aubrey in the real world, but you could draw that conclusion. Um, but, so that was the last required room. This is the first not required room, and it's going to pretty immediately get into something that I consider pretty interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, as far as like a literal interpretation of Aubrey, it only really makes sense in the Sunny route, since he's seen her in the real world. Um, but I think even figuratively, Sunny could see it that way. Um, but yeah. Oh, thank goodness you're here, Omori. I thought I was going to be stuck here forever. Phew, that feels so much better. I can't believe you came here to save me. I missed you so much. Now that you're here, I can finally go home. Lead the way, Omori. You know, I think spiders are really misunderstood. They might look kind of scary, but they never attack humans unless they feel threatened. Not to mention, they're also one of my biggest helpers when I'm gardening, since they eat a lot of the pests that can hurt my plants. It's all about the balance of nature. I remember a while back, you told me that a big spider fell on your shoulder just as you were about to dive into the lake at our secret hangout spot. I know that the spider must have looked so scary to you, but I promise that you probably looked a lot scarier to the spider. No offense, of course. There's so many spiders here all of a sudden. I can feel them crawling all over me. Maybe they're just saying hello? Hi, spiders. It's me, your friend Basil. Ah, they're biting me. Oh, I'm probably just scaring them. There, spiders. It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. Well, I'm gonna finish this room and then I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. Um, there's so many of them. I can't get them off. Ugh, Omori. Omori, please, help. So, technically, this line of dialogue does not um, tell us that Basil was present at the lake incident. It only tells us that Sonny talked to him about it. Because he said, I know one time you told me. Which is very interesting. Basil is actually the only person who is not mentioned there being the day of the incident. Um, Even though I feel like his take on the situation would be so important because I think it plays into like the feelings of protectiveness he has for Sonny. Um, Later on, when you go to the lake during One Day Left, and Kel, Hero, and Aubrey talk about the lake incident, at the very least, Kel does not seem to be aware um, why Sonny fell. He doesn't seem to know that there was a spider that fell onto his shoulder. And again, he doesn't know about it. It's all part of this thing where Sonny doesn't really share his fears with the friend group for the most part. Um, Now, I do think it is. I do think this room is implying that Sonny did share his fears with Sonny, even if Basil was there. Um, the other characters still don't appear to be knowledgeable about Sonny's fears, whereas Basil at least this headspace version of Basil, if we take this to be literal, um, knows about the incident, knows about the spider falling on him. Um, there's some other indications of this as well. There's a photo album. There's a real world photo album picture in which Mari is holding out a um, bug. I believe it's a beetle. And in the it's one of the few changes like this actually in the to the actual art of a photo album picture. In the Dream World photo album, Basil's holding a spider instead of Mari holding it, um, from behind the camera. Um, Basil also has like the picnic conversation where he tries to get Hero to you know not be afraid of spiders. But I believe that dialogue is actually very similar to what we see here, which to me implies that this was something that Basil actually told Sunny at some point, um, to try to help him with his fears. There's also some other stuff too. It's implied that Sunny struggled a little bit with the treehouse ladder just because of all the ladder symbolism in Headspace. Um, and there's the one memory where he's been counting how long it's been since Mari went up her ladder, instead of just going up there after her. There and if you look at the calendar, if you look at the calendar art for August, I believe, which is the one where they're in the where they have the treehouse. Basil is helping Sunny climb the ladder. Um, Now, of course, Basil probably didn't help much with his fear of drowning, considering he can't swim. But Basil does keep him company, in the when he's buried himself at the beach, and uh, that's assuming the beach was something that happened after the incident, which I believe my conclusion was that it was before. Mainly because I feel like Mari would also know about Sunny's fears in some way. Man, it's just these ones that like right as soon as you get into the not required ones, the black space just gets some bangers, for the characterization of Basil at least. A lot of the stuff that I've posted online has to do with Basil being implied to help Sunny with his fears. Though I think even if what I say is true, a criticism you could have is that stuff like that shouldn't have to be missable. Even though a lot of the stuff about Basil is just missable, it's optional. And so it feels like that's kind of the point, but I feel like it shouldn't be. That stuff that's in the game that I feel like should be, if it's true, should be more obvious. I know Basil's whole thing is him not being present is supposed to make the heart grow fonder. But I think his characterization does suffer from it a bit. That so many people just don't know about this stuff or don't believe it. Yeah. So this is not the yeah, this isn't the room I'm thinking of, but this is still a very interesting room. I miss you, Sonny. You were always someone I could depend on to listen. My problems, my hopes, my dreams, you knew them all. So if you're still there, please let my words reach you one more time. This has been my phone wallpaper for 3 years. A single daisy. I've talked about daisies. I talked about Daisy the character, pretty early on. It all plays into this conception that Sunny has of Basil and home. Home for Flowers Daisy is one that we're going to get later. Daisy, the character, who gives you that quest very early on for the flower puzzle. If you want to get a little bit delusional with it, in the same way there's a single daisy right here in the OMORI route, in the minigame where you are sorting your belongings, you can find a single puzzle piece, which Daisy, in Daisy's quest, you are trying to find a puzzle for her crush. Which I think can all be lumped together if you want to. I think the similarity in a single daisy and a single puzzle piece is interesting, especially when the character Daisy has a quest about finding a puzzle. Home for Flowers Daisy. So we know daisies are associated with Basil. I'm not going to get into flower meanings because that's not really my jam, and you can kind of force a flower meaning for just about anything because there's so many different kinds of flower meanings. But I do think that Basil never directly attributed the daisy to himself. I think it's more meaningful if Sunny associates Basil with daisies himself, based on some meaning, maybe about keeping secrets or something along those lines. Of course, daisies also appear quite a bit in merchandise, for lack of a better term. Right here I have the Basil ceramic mug. You can see has quite a few daisies on it, as well as gladiolus, cacti, and rose, and tulip, lily of the valley, sunflower, and also this one. Shoot. There's also, I believe, in the Basil birthday art, that is the real world art, from, like, I believe the first year that they did that. Sunny and Basil are both wearing daisies in their hair. And in fact, I believe Basie. Yes, I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but I've tried to wear a piece of OMORI clothing every single time I've streamed. There's actually one other thing. Let me go get it. Alright, so right here I have the little folder of things that the physical special edition came. I believe it calls this a flower bookmark that Sunny would have received from Basil, which is how these are presented. These are presented as belongings of Sunny's. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe it's not a daisy. I don't really know what a dried out daisy looks like. It does have the right amount of petals. If you don't know, that OMORI friend facts thing that happened a little while ago, I was actually asked to draw a daisy for that. I don't think I ever posted about participating in that, but yeah, if you go into that video, which I believe is several hours long, there's a daisy that I did draw in that. I'm not that great of an artist, so I didn't try to take like a character or anything like that, but yeah. What else has daisies on it? I mean, I believe Basil is shown with a daisy in a lot of official arts. At least like younger Basil. Specifically thinking about some of the merchandise art that they've drawn. Of course, I feel there's got to be something I'm forgetting. I don't know. I'm sure it'll come to me. But daisies are a big thing, and a lot of people don't realize that daisies are a big thing, because again, the two biggest things about daisies are that like little area, and like that room of black space and Home for Flowers Daisy, which you don't know the name of the song if you're just playing it, and that room is optional. And so I think it's just like a lot of Basil characterization that can get overlooked. I think this is one of the more absurdist rooms, I'm pretty sure. I don't know that there's anything else going on here to take note of. Ah. Oh. Okay, so you can get Helmari and something. Yeah, that's cool. It's interesting. I'm sure there's a lot going around, and a lot of these backgrounds also, I haven't talked about it, but a lot of these backgrounds also have stuff going on. This one's Urple. Also, yes, I fully believe that the puzzle piece in the OMORI route has a daisy on it, because that just makes sense to me with the other evidence. Oh, yeah, I think that is also the case. I think I have... It's something that's difficult to make note of when you're playing it. The real question is, if there is a daisy on that puzzle, what does it mean? What does it mean for there to be a daisy on it? Does that mean Basil is Daisy? I mean, I guess you could just say, oh, Basil gave this flower puzzle to Sunny as a gift at some point. You know, I mean, Sunny has a birthday. I think it probably maybe would have been pre-canon. Or maybe just not tied to to Christmas, or I guess it could have been for Christmas. No, because Basil. What am I saying? Basil Basil's Christmas gift to Sunny is already well accounted for. Um, but I feel like if he got it to him for his birthday, it would have been mentioned in the album. So it could have just been something that he got for him at some point as a gift, kind of like how the way the quest works. There wasn't like a birthday or anything like that. Um, that's true. I mean, I mentioned this when I first talked about the quest. All over the place in both the real world and Headspace, you can find unfinished puzzles, and every single one of them is missing a single puzzle piece. Um, is this the fishbowl room finally, or is there still? No, this is the treehouse. You took a nice nap. I mean, I think Sunny. I do think Sunny is a pretty bit of an interesting character like that, and um, it's typically not the gift himself, the gift itself that touches him. Um, Sonny grew to despise the violin, but he loved his friends. Um, the building blocks. I think it's pretty funny that Sonny didn't have a whole lot of interest in the building blocks. That to the fact that they seem to have had no impact on Headspace at all, and we don't seem. I don't think we can. I don't even think they're in his belongings. Maybe there are. Maybe you do find the building blocks while you're sorting through his belongings. Um, I think I do like the idea that at some point maybe the rest of the puzzle was left somewhere, and every so often while Sonny's already locked himself away in his room, he just sees this single puzzle piece with a single daisy on it. Okay, yeah, he does. So he does find you do find it during the sorting minigame. Yeah, I said he doesn't, and then immediately I was like, oh no, actually, I'm pretty sure he does. Look, it's the treehouse. Ah, Omori, is it really you? How did you find me? Are Kel, Aubrey, and Hero here too? I've missed you all so much. I'm glad the treehouse is still standing. Everyone works really hard to make it together. Let's go home, Omori. Game. Toast. Cat. Toy. TV. Toy. Book. Well, I mean, you gotta remember what the Omori route represents, right? Um, Kel. Heavy. Heavy. Friend. Toast. Toast. Summer. Date. Date. Cookies. 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 Gone. Fun. Fun. Blook. Cook. Cook. Did I say blook? Did I just read blook? Maybe I missed it. I know in the actual memory, it does have a date circled, which is presumably the, or maybe that's in the real one. Um, it has a date circled. that is presumably the recital. Let's go to Otherworld. Actually, while we're in here, can I share something with you, Omori? Well, it's also still pretty vague because we don't know that Basil wanted to talk about the truth necessarily. Um, I think I've said in the past that I personally believe that's not what he would have brought up. Just because I think a whole lot of black space, a whole lot of the point of black space is that everything except the truth is down here. Um, the truth is in the light bulb. So, but at the same time, I don't know what else he would potentially be bringing up there. So, yeah. Can you help me out? Youch. G. Hawk Tua. Omori. Well, that was weird. All right. Here we are. This is another favorite of sunflower shippers around the world. Um, I mean, a lot of black space has stuff like that. If you don't know, the OST for this room, oh, it's white pillars? White pillars, right? Oh, is that? Yeah. It is the 143rd song on the soundtrack. Um, Back then, I wanted to save what was left. But even after everything, you left me, Sonny. I waited so long for you to come back. Even seeing you now, it's hard to think straight. I can feel my heart hurting and I want to cover my face and hide. There are so many things I want to say to you, but the words won't come out. I waited so long for you to come back, Sonny. But you never did. I think Stranger is often depicted as this like dark shadow, serious all the time type of figure. And I don't know if that's right. First off, I don't know that Stranger can even really be considered a character independent of Basil, in the way that he often is depicted. Stranger is I mean, and don't get me wrong, the different ways that Stranger is used throughout the different routes can vary pretty wildly. Um, an empty fishbowl. Um, but like during the Stranger boss fight, he's crying if you brighten up the sprite. Now, of course, that's because it's reusing the battle sprite from the real world. Um, but whenever I kind of see this with some depictions of real world Basil as well, to a lesser extent, where there's the oops, I was not going to step on the fish, but I did. Um, I think Stranger is a much more melancholic character insofar as he is his own character, um, rather than this serious, vengeful thing um, that he's often depicted as. And I think that is because in a fan work that's going to include Basil or Stranger, Stranger needs to maybe not maybe vengeful is the wrong word. Um, yeah, vengeful is definitely the wrong word, but I think people like see Stranger as a very serious, composed um, character who is just all serious and is trying to lead you to the truth. When the truth is, Stranger is like an echo of the real Basil. Maybe not things that the real Basil is consciously thinking, but things that the real Basil needs when he is trying to talk to Basil or talk to Sunny. Um, I don't know. I think lines like this, I'd like to see more Stranger things that play into that characterization of um, still like barely being able to look at Sunny because of how long it's been. Um, right. There he is. Omori, I'm right here. Ta-da! Surprised to see me? I've been hiding out in this stump since I got here. I'm not the best at defending myself, but I think I'm pretty good at surviving at least. Anyway, I knew you would come save me, Omori, and I'm sure we will be able to make it out of this place now that you're here. This place seems a little dangerous, but I trust you. You shouldn't have did that, am I right? Hey, Omori, you're acting kind of cold. Did I do something wrong? Omori, I don't like this place at all. It doesn't feel very safe here. But, at least we have each other. Haha. Actually, there's something that's been really bothering me. Would you care to hear me out? And I think with these Headspace Basil rooms, we're starting to see the transition into this other form of Omori. The passive form is starting to give way to the more direct form of him being visibly cold. Right. There's also another interpretation of this in that, um, in the way that the other Basils have been remembering things about the real world, this Basil could be remembering how he and Sunny used to be, whereas Omori is always expressionless. And so this Basil could be interpreting that as coldness, because it's not how Sunny would act. But I think the intention here is for us to believe that Omori is no longer, in like its passive form. It's definitely starting to change. But I think both interpretations can work. This room's scary. I don't know if it goes any further than that. Yeah. So it's 10 o'clock, just about. We'll probably do the little hero scene that you get in the... Oh, we still have a couple rooms left. I'm not some of these rooms I don't remember. I think this room is another one that... It's the bedroom. For so long, you kept the truth shut out. But something made it slip. In the hole that it made, it won't stop spreading until you find the root of it all. The one that has seen the truth. Will you guide me to him, Sonny? Sonny, we're moving away. I love this room. Obviously, Sonny, there's a big thing about beds in this game. Sonny talking about different beds he's slept in, caring about how comfortable certain beds are. And this room provides this whole thing about the fact that the headspace loop has not always been a loop. I think that all of these loops have happened somewhat recently. And I think this phone call right here is... well, first off, I think this is a slight indication that even before moving was a thing, Sonny didn't see his mom that much. Because he seems to imagine her voice through phones, which, I mean, I think she also just doesn't even have like a real sprite, if I'm not mistaken. I think she has like a shadow sprite, but I think that is what it is. I think the knowledge that I mean, and listen to this song. It's just a clock ticking, and like alarms and ringing. Um, the knowledge that he's leaving. I think if Basil wasn't involved in the truth, Sonny could stay like this forever, and he would feel all right with doing that. Um, or maybe he wouldn't even bother with this. Maybe he would choose to choose to you can get the bad endings. Um, I think that Basil is the reason he does this. Um, that the guilt for leaving behind Basil, knowing what his situation might be like, and knowing that he's running out of time to make things right. I think he feels guilt for abandoning Basil, um, and it was more so subconsciously before that he was procrastinating, and that's no longer an option for him. That's just my take on it, though. Um, yeah, I think that is like definitely yeah. So the guilt is the same either way, but I think without Basil's involvement, um, Sonny has no reason to face his friends again because he is already punishing himself. Um, but he knows he abandoned Basil, um, which is why he has to come outside and make sure he's okay. Um, I think he feels guilt either way, but if it was just him involved, he would feel that he should be guilty, um, and that he should stew in that. Um, whereas Basil's something that he can potentially still do something about. That's my interpretation, though. Um, and I think we're going to see that with this last room as well. Not this one. Um, this is a freaky little room. Hero is here. Like, I think it's like implied that these are like where the headspace friends come from. Um, this room also feels a little bit connected to the branch coral in a way. I believe this is the same. Yeah, I believe this is numbers. And the tree is the branch coral tree. At least the one that the apple falls off of. But it's like, okay, if that's where all the headspace friends come from, I don't really care because that ain't real, yo. Alright, I think we have one room left. Yeah, okay, so this is the last one. Dun, dun. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Yeah, see, it's missing a puzzle piece. Bum, bum, bum. Omori, you're here. Oh, I'm so relieved. I tried finding my way out, but I kept getting lost over and over. I'm sorry. You must be tired of saving me all the time. Maybe I should have tried harder. Anyway, everything is fine now that you're here. Let's go home. If you can play on the different playground. Do you ever notice that Headspace Basil's overalls are like colored like the photo album? He has like a little yellow thing on it that I don't think appears in the full arts. The real world photo album, that is. You can play on the swings with Basil. Um, I guess it's a fun little sunflower moment because that is traditionally something that you do with Aubrey. Um, the whole time I've been here, I've been looking through my photo album to keep me company. When I was feeling scared, I would look at all our happy memories together. It really helped me keep my hopes up. I feel like there are some photos missing, but maybe I'm just imagining things. How are Aubrey, Kel, and Hero anyway? I hope you all didn't worry too much about me. I can't wait to see everyone again. Um, in the code, I mean, obviously, when you go into the park in the before meeting up with Mari, Omori can like play on a lot of the different playground stuff alone. I believe in the code there is like code to play on like a lot of these playground things with Basil. But I think the only one that's actually in the game is the swings. Hero, is that you? Omori, look, it's Hero. You didn't tell me everyone was already here. Chicken! Kel, Aubrey, it's so good to see you guys. How have you been? Do you miss me? Wait, what are you guys doing? Omori. Ugh. Kel and Aubrey have been fighting a lot again. You would think they'd get tired of it after a while, but they're both just so full of energy. Man, Aubrey always gets what she wants. Hi, Omori. We were hoping that you'd come by soon. Want to play cards with us? We were just about to start another game. Good golly. Good golly gee. So, I mean, I think that by the time Sonny shut himself away, it was obvious that he and Basil were not talking to their friends anymore. And I think in many ways, this can represent an anxiety in the Omori route of not knowing of what might be happening to Basil if people knew, um, or just like a general thing. Of course, after seeing the real world in the Sunny route, you could say that this is quite tied to um, what's actually been happening to Basil in the real world. Um, but it's very striking. This OST as well is very creepy. I think that, yeah, that is the last black space room. I know that for a fact. Other than the Church of Something, of course. Do you see that? 24, 24, 24? That's crazy. A statue of a religious figure. You feel as if it is judging you. Of course, that's not the. This isn't the first place that dialogue appears. You also get it in the real world. A hard frozen steak. Would you like to eat some? I believe this is the first place you can see snow in the game. Because you can't. I mean, other than the whatchamacallit, the frozen lake in Otherworld. I almost forgot about that. But like, you can't go to the one mountain. So I mean, the funeral would have been probably in October. But I interpret the snow as Sunny did not, because we know that Sunny continued going to school for a while. I interpret the snow as Sunny did not return from winter break. I think that is when he took the opportunity to fully lock himself away. I think that's why Headspace Basil doesn't like snow as well. And doesn't seem to know why he doesn't like snow. Though I think that the seasonal depression is also a valid read on that. My personal interpretation is that we know Sunny continued going to school for a little bit. The recital was supposed to be in October. I think Sunny finished out that quarter, and over winter break, with that Christmas and everything going on, decided to shut himself away fully. But I think that kind of stuff is interesting because you don't get a whole lot of that when you are just playing the game. Like, the thought of Sunny continuing going to school for a little bit is interesting. So these guys appear quite often, starting in like Deepwell. I didn't really talk about them, but believe it or not, I believe they are actually related to Smoothies. There's actually I believe in Black Space 2, there's a room. It's called Hero's Kitchen, but it is very specifically Sunny's kitchen, but with a blender in it. And you have to collect ingredients for Hero. And the ingredients are these little guys, and I believe if you look at them in their inventory, they're like related to tofu somehow. I think they use the tofu sprite or something like that, which just plays into smoothie theory. Sunflower stays winning. We don't have to save here. Yeah. I don't know about that, but that could work. I mean, these things being related to Basil is like something that's just true. I think they're called little basils in the code or something like that. But, so it makes sense if they would say, I'm sorry. If you run them on them enough, they'll... Oh. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I think it would have played well because, I mean, I think it's pretty well known that there are like bit crushed dialogue lines in the code from where you would switch your character with the tag system. So I think that would have been an interesting include alongside that, because that's probably what that would have been for. This church has the floral walls, which I believe like most of the houses in the real world do. Um, this is the church of something. Pitter patter, pitter patter. They do got white pillars though. White pillars is an interesting concept in general, because what does white pillars mean, right? It could be the keys of a piano. It could be Mari, the vision of Mari hanging there in all white. Um, so I believe this Basil is implied to be the Basil from the beginning of the game. Um, the one who saw the truth. Or it could just be some deeper version of Basil. Um, that the other Basils are based off of. And this is. I don't know. Do you think this is the first time Stranger has merged with this Basil? Do you think that's happened in previous loops, or is this the first time? I've always assumed that the previous loops would be more like the OMORI route than the Sunny route, which is a little bit different. You've been running from this for so long. But this time, we can face it together. Sonny, why did it end up like this? Sonny, I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me, my best friend? Yeah. Now, of course, in these first two instances where you're asked if you want to save Basil, I'm pretty sure ultimately you can't really say no. Um, there's something out there. It's calling me, and it's calling you too. Ba, 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 ba. Let's go together. I'm pretty sure this Basil's eyes are canonically red. I think that's, yeah. I think that's mentioned by somebody, one of the strangers in Black Space. Finger. Finger. There's this thing with fingers, you know. We're gonna see it later on during the truth sequence. Finger. Finger. So it's definitely not the first time Basil has been brought back here. It's at least the fifth time. So I think this. I guess it is implied that this has happened with each loop. Um, I think you could say that we're probably not, even though we're in control right now, it's probably more in the form of Omori than we are Sunny. I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? My best friend. Please, it hurts. Tell them to let go. Wait, what are you doing? Tell them to stop. Please, tell them to stop. Help me. I think that is absolutely safe. I think once the light bulb is broken, that's kind of that. Um, so this is the destructive form of Omori now that we're no longer controlling him. Um, the Red Hands version of him. I think you can. Oh, for some reason I thought you could go outside this night. Maybe it's after this. You know, waltzes were always my favorite. That's why I chose this song for our last recital. But you always hated it, didn't you? How I'd lock myself away on the piano. All that practicing, playing the same song over and over. When you first picked up your new violin, you were so eager to play with me. But keeping up with something isn't so easy. Maybe I pushed you too hard. I'm sorry. I just wanted it to be perfect. We never did get to play at that last recital. Before I move on, I think now might be a good time to talk about Mari. And how the game treats her. She obviously, her and Basil both haunt the narrative in a lot of ways. She doesn't get a lot of time to really set herself up as a character outside of what she represents to Sunny. Now, of course, this scene, as we're about to see, is going to get interrupted by Hiro. So it is one of those scenes that raises the question of, is this Mari a spirit? Is this the real spirit Mari? Um, is this Sunny hallucinating? And if it's Sunny hallucinating, who's playing the piano? Now, we have seen Spirit Mari once, and that Spirit Mari implied that we would not see her again. And from that perspective, you could maybe think that the last Spirit Mari we saw was not the real Mari. Whereas this one might be. If it is or isn't, this Mari apologizes to Sunny for pushing him too hard, potentially, forcing him to do something he didn't want to do. I don't know if that was a good thing to include. I think at the end of the day, Mari... Obviously, I'm not saying there needs to be a scene where Sunny apologizes to Mari. I don't think that would make sense within the context of the game. I think it's obvious that Sunny is apologetic for what happened. It doesn't need to be said, and I don't think there's a good way for him to say it. Because that's kind of the point, is Mari, you're never going to get closure on what happened with Mari. She's gone, and you have to live with it. I think it's more likely for her to say it if it's actually her ghost. I think if it's her ghost, she's had time to process things. I think she's seen what Sunny has done to himself, and presumably has seen Sunny's subconscious at this point. But at the same time, I don't think that this needed to be here. Yes, I agree with that. I think that, for one, I don't like this scene in the first place. The fact that it exists and makes it hard to say that the paranormal is not at play in this game. I don't think it's good for Sunny's character. I don't think it's good for Mari's character that we get her doing this. I mean, in a way, I guess she is pushing Sunny to take responsibility for the things he's done. The game does have some themes of taking responsibility. That's kind of the main point. But the whole point should be that we don't know how Mari felt. She's haunting the narrative. She's supposed to be haunting the narrative. She has been gone for a long time, and we're never going to get to know how she felt. We're never going to get to know if she ever saw what Sunny said. Personally, I've always said that as the recital drew closer and closer, there was a gap. There formed a gap between Mari and Sunny, as things got more stressful, and that's maybe when I've always said, I think my August Water theory touches on this. That I think that's kind of part of the why he started getting closer and confiding more in Basil, is Mari. That whole thing was getting more tense as the recital drew closer. But I think in general, this didn't need to be here. I think that's right. We shouldn't. I don't think we need to know this. I think I could have done without knowing this. Whether it's Sunny's mind or the real Mari, um, people see Sunny. I think when people start getting really into Omori analysis, one of the things they say is that they see Sunny as a selfish character. And I think that is somewhat. I don't think the idea is without merit, I should say. Um, it is very easy to see a lot of Sunny's actions as selfish. Um, it's very easy to see Sunny as lazy. Um, with some of the lines of dialogue that you get. Um, and I think that's how Sunny sees himself. I believe this is something that is supposed to be deconstructed by the player. Um, Even in the treehouse memory, he is in the process of getting up to help his friends. Um, if you take Universally Loved as canon, he spends the whole 3 days helping people. He famously holds his friends up to a fault. Um, and though so many people see his last act of I need to tell you something, or I have something to tell you, or however it's worded, we'll see. As a selfish act, I think it is ultimately a selfless act. Regardless of anything else, strip everything back away from Sunny's own character. Even if it hurts, his friends deserve to know. If for no other reason than the fact that Basil is clearly incapable of going on any longer with the current status quo. And as the friends, if the friend group got back together and started hanging out with Basil more, I don't think he would be able to keep that going for long. Even if you eliminate the other three friends, I think Sunny's actions in revealing the truth is still not entirely for his own conscience. And considering the suicidal imagery that we get on from Sunny's perspective in some of these endings, I would consider it a little bordering on problematic to see Sunny as a fully selfish character. I don't like Spirit Mari. That's what I have to say about that. Did you want to play it with me now? Whoa, you scared me there, Sunny. Sorry for bursting in like that. I could have sworn I heard some music. But my point in there was, if this Mari is a figment of Sunny's imagination, then that could absolutely be seen as evidence of Sunny's mind being a little bit selfish for thinking this. That Mari would feel that way. If it is from Sunny's perspective, I do think it is an idealization of Mari, because I don't know that Mari ever would have realized that Sunny had felt that way about the violin. But yeah, you must miss Mari a lot. It's been hard for me too. I still think about her every day. Hero. I just don't understand why she chose to leave us the way she did. But I knew her as a person who would always want all of us to be happy, even if it was without her. You should really get some rest. Go upstairs. I'll come join you in a bit. Oh, Mahari. And make no mistake, I think Sonny can be selfish. I think the inciting incident of everything, of Sonny locking himself away, that was a selfish act. He was thinking of himself at the expense of Basil, at the expense of his other friends, Aubrey, Kel, Hero, leaving them with this falsehood. Um, the problem is, I believe that the game's arc for Sonny is him overcoming this. I don't think he's by nature selfish, but I think that this was such a painful thing, um, that he had to be selfish in a way. Not had, but and Omori is going to level these things at Sonny as well. Um, and I think a lot of people can take this at face value. After this, the closet door reappears, for us to be able to see. And you can go outside. Right. Now, of course, Sonny does not want to approach the tree stump. Um, this is crazy because these toys have been out here since the incident. Like nobody was coming out here since then. Can you actually I've never actually tried okay. What time is it? 10:30. Obviously, we don't really have a whole lot of time to like really do faraway stuff. So we'll probably do that stuff tomorrow and finish out the game tomorrow. Oh, the mirror! I didn't check the mirror. One day left. Isn't it crazy that Black Space is technically during 2 days left as far as the game is concerned? Yeah. Hey, Sonny, it's Mommy. Tomorrow's the big day. The movers will be here first thing tomorrow morning. I gave them the keys, so don't freak out if you see them. Remember to finish organizing your things today. I'll be picking you up in my car out front. Just come outside when you're ready. Okay, that's it for now. Mommy loves you. Bye, honey. Good morning, Sonny. Rise and shine. I noticed the to-do list with the chores your mom gave you, so I finished them all. What'd you do with my puzzle piece, Hero? Hero Mori, where's my puzzle piece? Also, I made you breakfast. Come down and get it while it's still warm. Kel's already on his second plate. I need to brush my teeth. Good morning, Sunny. Rise and shine. Top of the morning to you, laddies. You better start eating before I finish it all. I already ate most of the bacon, though. No, I think, I'm gonna do this scene, and then we're gonna save before leaving the house. I'm sorry, but you're the last person I'd expect to see here. This is a good point. How the heck does Kim know where Sunny lives? Or that they'd be here. I mean, I guess she probably went to Kel's house first, but... With the rocks we've been throwing at her window? She was really upset yesterday. I know this is your fault somehow. Tell me what you did to her. We didn't do anything. She's the one with the problem. Hold on, Kel. If Aubrey's that upset, we should at least try to do something to help. This is Aubrey we're talking about. We've all known each other since we were kids. You weren't there when she pushed Basil into the lake. I told you, she's different now. We shouldn't bother with people like her. Doesn't change the fact that I still care about her. And even if she doesn't show it, I'm sure that Aubrey still cares about me too. That's just the kind of person she is. I don't know about that. Today is our last day to do this before Sunny leaves. There's no way I can just let it end like this. We should at least try to talk to her. Me and Sunny can tag along, but you're gonna have to be the one doing the talking. She listens to you the most. Thanks, Kel. Hey, Kim. Thanks for asking us for help. You're a good friend. Huh? Sure. Whatever. Why don't you head out first? We'll meet you there. Okay, then. See ya. All right, that's black space. That's black space completed. I think it is. I think in general, the game has some issues the later you go, whether it's with plot or pacing or just choices in general, gameplay. But I think Black Space and the Truth segment and, well, basically everything after this day segment is pretty good. I think, unfortunately, the portion of the game we're about to get into is the one that is the part of the game that I actually have the most criticisms about. So we'll enjoy that when we as we go. If we go to the title screen, there is some tone issues with One Day Left, and but I actually see it as intentional. I think once Aubrey's in the party, it's almost like the happiest day in a way. It's like kind of the best the real world gets. And every time you turn it off, you're reminded of what happened right before this. That's the other thing about the Spirit Mari scene. I think it's a really weird scene to happen right after Black Space, right? Like when you're looking at this, when the game starts up, like, how am I supposed to be feeling right now? Now, I think, this being the day where you have all the activities you can do, like you can play video games and talk about like your past and go and play on the swings. I think you are supposed to feel uneasy about the situation. You, as the player, know that something's going on with Basil. Basil's at the hospital the entire day. And it's just like you have this reminder that there's something going on behind the scenes here that you need to be aware of. Even as Sonny is enjoying his last day with his friends. That being said, I think the actual way the game executes it, executes the one day left in general, leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, I think maybe it did the best with what it had. I should stop talking about this right now because we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about this probably tomorrow when I play. So I will just stop talking. Thank you, everybody who watched. I will see you tomorrow. Black Space is probably one of my favorite things to talk about in the game, outside of like stuff like Smoothie Theory, because it's so compact. You know, talking about the fishbowl area and all that, and about Sonny talking to Basil about the lake incident. The implications are great. But anyway, good night. Thank you.